I am so annoyed. I just spent $10,000 trying to make my own anime, but I have nothing to show for it. How did I become this person? I'm usually the person laughing at other people whose projects are in development hell. But now, look who's calling the kettle black, I guess. Oh, you want me to spill the tea on how I can spend so much money recklessly? Alright, well.
Back in 2021, I uploaded a video titled, I paid animators on Fiverr to make my dream anime. And in it, I did just that. I spent about $4,000 trying to make an anime, but failed miserably. But I ended the video promising to make my own anime at all costs.
I'm not at all cost yet, but I'm definitely at a lot of cost. And I don't think my suspect spending is ending anytime soon.
Because this has been a dream of mine since I was really young, and I don't think I'll be satisfied in life until I succeed, or at least exhaust every option trying to make it succeed. But you're probably a little lost.
To really understand what I'm talking about, we need to recap where I'm at.
Last time on Naive Jabrils, as a complete noob, he set out to make a 90-minute anime, but no one was crazy enough to take on the project without at least a $1 million payment. Pivoting to just making a 1-minute anime instead, he found an animator willing to give it a shot. But halfway through, they realized the project was too big, so they abandoned the project. Frustrated, Jabril decided to pivot to make a 3D anime. But the big dum-dum wasn't thinking, because how would adding a dimension make things any easier? But after enough patience and diligence, he was able to get a cast of 3D characters for his anime. But that's when the biggest problem he's ever faced arose. Every character was made by a different artist. It just looked fucking weird and distracting. And so, with $4,000 down the drain, he decided the only thing to do was to throw away everything and start over from scratch to do it himself. Find out what happens next on this episode of Naive Jabrils.
I laugh because it hurts. That was 3 years ago. Am I now on episode 100 with a large captivated audience for my Hackswear IP? Well, it's time for an update.
Alright, so the story picks up from... Oh my god, Jabrils, I got your address from one of those data broker sites. I'm a huge fan. Can you please teach me machine learning? This is an actual deep irrational fear of mine. But with today's sponsor Aura, I don't have to worry about that anymore. Now, Aura is a little difficult to describe because it's such a new concept. But basically, in this new digital age, every bit of data that you have out there is an important part to your identity. Things like your full name, driver's license, gamer tag, and even email with passwords are likely publicly available somewhere on the internet from either one of those mini data leaks or from some company selling your data. And if a bad actor gets their hands on this data, they could do very naughty things. Well, the opposite of a bad actor is Aura.com. Just like anyone else, Aura has access to this data, but they use it to stay ahead of bad actors by alerting you when your data is being used without your permission. They give you alerts on all different types of data. For example, on just making an account, it automatically sent takedown requests to sites I didn't even know were selling my data. It's honestly a service I didn't know I needed. And if you use the link Aura.com/Jabrils, you'll get a 14-day trial, which is probably enough time for you to see how your private data is being used without your permission, as well as send out some takedown requests. Link is in the description. And alright, my crazy adventure to trying to make my dream anime continues. I've spent $4,000 trying to make a banger anime, but that didn't happen. But it's like they say, when you want something done, sometimes you gotta just do it yourself. So here's the plan. I already have a couple of models that I made a long time ago, and I plan to use these to start to make my anime episode. And thankfully, I already have the first few episodes written out. So all I gotta do is start animating these models, start spinning out episodes one at a time, and boom, my dream hath come true. Let's fucking go. Never mind, man. This ain't gonna work. These models, unfortunately, are just a little too low poly. Hell, Grand Theft Auto 3 has better expression potential than this jank. After hours of just trying to animate this very simple sequence, there's just too much that needs to be reworked, to the point where I'm better off starting over. And listen, I know, but take a look at my options. There's nothing else I can do.
Okay, update. And honestly, this is something that I fear. So I started to make the character template, and now because the control is in my hands, I want to make sure that every polygon is perfect. It's a personality flaw of mine, alright, leave me alone. And so I just spent the past week or so just researching and reworking how I can make my face rig worthy enough to make an anime with. But sadly, hoping to finish this new template in a couple of days, I haven't even started on the body yet. And even more sadly, the smartest thing for me to do is just end the project here, because knowing me, this will probably turn into another 3 years of wasted time and money, and I just can't do that again. I'm a smart person, trust me, I know when to quit.
I ended up up deciding on stepping away from working on the character template for now and model the environment for the first episode of my anime instead, so that I can finally, for the first time in years, feel like I'm making some actual progress. Please keep me in your thoughts. Boy, do I got some good news. The environment to episode 1 is done, like done. And it only took a few days from start to finish. Just look at this beauty. It's a facility protected by a high gate and a secret tower next to it. Story spoilers. And inside are 2 stories, with the ground floor storing all of their bot chargers, as well as another story spoiler. And upstairs is just the control room to monitor the facility. It's looking tight, right? Come on, tell me y'all want to see an anime episode in this environment. But I've got even more good news. I've even went on and finished the character template, and the render tests are looking nice. We're now one step closer to making that iconic Goku versus Frieza moment. I honestly couldn't be any more excited, but surprise, it's me, baby. You just know I gotta find something wrong with something. You see, the character template renders are indeed looking tight, but they aren't perfect. One of the biggest issues is that the mouth is hard to make both pretty and versatile. It seems I have to choose one or the other, and I just can't find satisfaction with it. Because some of the mouth renders look really good, but some of them also look really bad. And this really bothers me. It annoys me that the rig is always just a little off. Yo, hold up. I gotta add an editor's note. While editing this video, I had to go find examples of it looking bad. And image after image, they all were looking slamming. And I knew if I didn't address this, I would get absolutely spit roasted in the comments. I just wanted to say, I have no idea what I was on back then. I think I was mistakenly making too many comparisons to the multi-million-dollar animes. But whatever, hindsight is 2020, back to the story. And I can't quite figure out how to fix it, no matter how many tutorials I watch. But the even bigger problem is, we're now months away from when I first decided to do this on my own. And I'm starting to fear another 6 months from now, I'm still gonna be right where I'm at, miserable, just trying to fine-tune models and make them look right. And now listen, I'm very proud of all the progress that I've made, but sadly, it's taking up almost all of my time. I really don't have time to do anything else, like make YouTube videos. And I am not gonna give up making YouTube videos to follow my anime dreams. So, there comes a time in every person's life when they realize it's time to move on. And this, for real, is the end, y'all. The Hackswear project is officially over. After listening to the audiobook adaptation of a manga I enjoyed, I started to consider how well a Hackswear audiobook might do. I mean, all I gotta do is hire a few voice actors, collect some cool sound effects and music, and I can churn out an episode in a week or 2 tops. I am very confident in my abilities here, okay? Now, I know what you're thinking, but hear me out here, okay? Because I am no longer delusional. I know that I need a lot of money to make an anime happen, which I don't have. But all the sunken cost has a firm grip on me, and I just have to keep on going. And so, I think making 3 to 5 minute audio episodes is far easier and cheaper than making full-blown anime episodes. Yes, I'm going back to spending money again. But it's making anime or die over here, so let's get it.
Alright, I've got some good news and some bad news. Good news is, I'm now 4 episodes deep into the audiobook, and there's about 20 minutes of content that you can watch right now. Link is in the description. But the bad news is, though, no one really cared about it when it released. I mean, the views are alright, but the engagement is terrible. I think one of the biggest issues of trying to create in this hyper attention age is making an audiobook geared towards an anime audience is just very hard to market. And I'm torn because they're really easy to produce and get the ball rolling. But if no one's excited about it, what can I do? And sadly, this time for real, y'all, it's been a lot of fun, but this is where my Hackswear adventure ends. Because listen, I'm not insane. Because insanity is doing the exact same fucking thing over and over again, expecting shit to change.
That is crazy.
And me? No. I'm not crazy.
I found myself dwelling on a comment someone left on the audiobook series. They said that they need graphics and suggested something like a manga. And after pricing how much it would cost, I thought, no way. To make just 10 manga chapters would cost me anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000. But that's when it hit me. I am genuinely out of options now. 4 years into this venture, and I've learned that going straight to anime is very unrealistic unless you have millions of dollars. I've also learned that making an audiobook is just way too boring for the modern age, and a manga seems to be the only realistic option that I have left. Is making a manga more riskier than making an audiobook? Of course. Am I guaranteed that people even read my manga and support it when it drops? not even in the slightest. But the audiobook marks a very important turning point for me, and it taught me a really valuable lesson. Because I used to think success meant after only a few episodes, my IP should be slamming in the streets. But since then, I come to peace with the fact that even if I were to drop 100 chapters of my manga and only 20 people end up reading it, I'll be okay with that. Because I think I've come to learn that success is not about how fast people appreciate your work. It can just be as simple as just completing the race. And fun fact, a manga is what many animes use as a storyboard. So in truth, it's kind of a win-win situation for me. If I succeed, I already have a storyboard ready to be adapted into an anime. And if I fail, well, at least I have a story that I put my heart and soul into in a consumable medium that I can at least share with my grandkids one day. And so, to hell with it, let's make a manga. I'm so sorry for putting you through this. I started off by hunting for manga artists, and luckily, on my second try, I found a really talented one. I asked him if he was down to stick around for a whole manga chapter, and after he said let's do it, we got to work on my manga, Hackswear Paragon. Chapter 1. Alright, update. Progress is slow, but check this out. I've got physical prints made. The art is looking nice. The cover is looking, chef's kiss. I am so proud of this, and I can't wait to release it.
The days finally came. The days finally came. The days finally came. Hackswear Paragon Chapter 1 just released, right? I've got some crazy news. Chapter 1 is ranked top 10 on this popular manga site ran by Shueisha. Look at that. Shueisha is the publisher for popular manga like One Piece, Jujutsu Kaisen, My Hero Academia, the list goes on and on and on. Yo, I don't believe it.
It actually went really well, and even went on to hit top 3 on the site. And Shueisha even reached out interested in maybe publishing Hackswear Paragon on their front page. They asked me to send over the raw files to chapter 1, and then told me they'd consider it. I never heard from them again, but whatever. I got to join the manga rejection club with all the greats. But most importantly, for the first time in 4 years, people are consuming my story and giving me feedback, and this really put a battery in my back.
By the way, shouts to you if you read Chapter 1, even bigger shouts if you purchased a physical copy.
I asked my artist if he's down to do another chapter. He again said, let's do it. And once again, we got to work on Hackswear Paragon Chapter 2.
So fast forward to current day, and where are we at with the Hackswear manga? Are we finally steamrolling through chapter releases and crushing it with a loyal fan base? Man, as much as I would like to say everything is fine, there's just no other way around it. This shit is very hard. Chapter 1 to my manga released in August of 2023, and here we are 8 to 9 months later, and I'm barely about to release chapter 2. Meanwhile, a manga that was memed to hell and back released 1 month after mine, and they already have over 30 chapters. It's not lost on me that my operation needs a lot of improvement. But as I said before, I'm okay with whatever happens. The way I see it, I could be spending this money on a Porsche, or I could be using it to invest in this idea that I love. But ultimately, man, my take is just because I can't compete with the slaver animation houses in Japan, that doesn't mean I shouldn't try, you know? Oh yeah, and there was also a fan-submitted Hackswear anime scene. That joint is slamming.
わけねえよ。全部背負ってやろうじゃねえか。
And that is where our story ends for now. Chapter 1 is out now, and if you want to go support your boy, please go pick up a physical copy. I use the profits to invest in more Hackswear stuff, but Chapter 1 is also free to read. But also, check this out. Chapter 2 is almost here. All links are in the description. But I'll leave you on this note. As I get older, the more legacy is at the top of my mind. Recently, the creator of Dragon Ball died, and my goodness, talk about legacy, huh? That man has influenced culture more than most things on this planet. And I'll never forget being a kid, sitting in front of the TV, watching Goku turn into that fabled legendary Super Saiyan for the very first time. It still sends chills down my spine reliving that moment. But what Toriyama achieved in his life is not an easy feat. Let's not be delusional. Millions of people have attempted to replicate what he's done. But what, maybe a few hundred people have succeeded at it? But do you want to know the one thing that all people who succeeded share? They all weren't afraid to face off against the odds of failure. Look, all I can say is who knows if this will ever become something. But what I do know is it will never become something if I don't at least attempt to make it something. This is a side project that I'll be cooking up in my free time, and I'll occasionally update you guys on it. But go support your boy, links in the description. If you like videos like this one, subscribe to my channel because I'm coding up solutions to solve problems in my life every month. Like the one time that I was lonely, so I made an AI best friend.